Hey, I'm back. Hello. Okay, so let's talk about certification programs. So the CNCF has a number of programs we'll talk about in a second, but let's talk about why you want to participate in these. So for individuals and services organizations, it's about differentiation, right? You want to show that you have expertise in Kubernetes, and this is a way to do it. For platforms, when you talk about the Conformance program, it's about guaranteeing to your customers that your platform will run their application the way that they expect. So there's a number of different programs here. There's the CKA for administrators. There's the CKAD for developers. Those are for individuals. And then the KCSP is the partner program. So companies who have individuals as part of their staff that are CKAs, they can be part of this program. We'll talk about that. And then the Conformance program is all about, like I said, platforms that ensure their customers that they're going to run Kubernetes applications the way that you expect them to. So the CKAD and CKA exams, they're performance-based exams, right? There's no multiple choice here. You got to demonstrate that you know what you're talking about with either one of these exams. So you've got 24 problems in 3 hours for the CKA. So that's 7 minutes per problem. It's a very rigorous test. And for the CKAD, it's 19 problems in 2 hours. So you've got 6 minutes per question. You do have some resources at your disposal. So you can use Kubernetes.io, the docs, and the blog. So if you need a little help, you can get that. And so some more details about the exams. It's $300 US. It's typically the latest version of Kubernetes, so you got to make sure that you're up to date because the exam is going to test you on the latest features. They're proctored, and they're done online, so you can get a quiet place in your office. Make sure that your PC or your laptop is ready, so they have a whole checklist of things that you need to do. You got to do screen sharing. You have to have a webcam, so make sure that your PC is ready. Right now it's only in English, so if you're an English speaker, then you can take the exam. And then they're scored pretty quickly. So you're going to know if you passed, and if you didn't pass, there's a free retake. Within 36 hours, you'll get the results, and then you have a year for the retake, and then you have 2 years of certification. So I got certified last year. I'll have to get certified next year again. So what's on the exam? There's a lot of text here, but the idea behind the CKA is things like bootstrapping the cluster, backing up etcd, troubleshooting different parts of the cluster that may be down, right? Anything an administrator would need to do, you're going to have to do. Again, here's the trick to it, right? You got to pick the fastest way to do it because you only have 7 minutes for each question. So you got to know your stuff, right? So what's on the CKAD exam? It's all about crafting an application deployment that is going to be functional on the cluster, right? So think about resource requirements, right? What do you know about C groups, right? Liveness and readiness probes, things like persistent volume claims, right? You got to have that application work the first time on the cluster. So study up. And so some of the resources are here on this slide for you folks to take a look at. But great blog by Heptio. They talked about how their engineers passed, right? Talk about or take a look at the CKA website, the FAQ, the candidate handbook, Kubernetes up and running from Hightower, Burns, and Beta. Those are the guys, right? So obviously they know their stuff. You learn from them. As well, Kubernetes, the hardware, and the browser-based scenarios are going to be helpful, right? So all those links are here to help you practice. And so the other thing is you can get trained. There's a free edX course that's available from the Linux Foundation. These other ones here that are listed are fee-based, but here's the thing. What was the last tip on the previous slide? It was about practicing. These things have labs. They're going to help you get your hands dirty and work on a cluster, right? And they're going to teach you all the commands you're going to need in order to get past those tests. So for the KCSP, what you need is 3 individuals. If you're a services organization, get 3 individuals. And then the benefits here are you get access to the TOC meetings. You talk to the people who are intimately involved with these projects, as well as the CNCF governing board. So there are some benefits for a partner organization. From the consumer standpoint, engaging a KCSP organization, again, you know that these people have taken a very rigorous test, and you know they're going to know their stuff. So engaging a service provider with a KCSP logo is going to guarantee that they know what they're doing. In terms of software conformance, there are going to be tons of developers who's used Minikube in here. Anybody use Minikube, right? So when you deploy your application on Minikube, right, when you're writing it, you have an expectation of how it's going to act, right? So when you deploy it on someone's platform, it should act the same way, right? And so software conformance guarantees things like that, where you got the portability, you got the interoperability, and you know it's going to be updated because, again, the platform vendor has to do it every 12 months, right? So they're going to be up to date. And you can confirm it, right? You can run the same test, it's an open source test, against that platform, and they have to, if you find any errors, they have to fix them. So you know it's going to work. So how do we find a certified vendor if we want to use a platform? Look for logo. Most of the folks who participate in these programs, they are saying it loud and proud, right? I have a CKA shirt because I'm a CKA, right? So CNCF also manages a spreadsheet. So if you want to look up a particular version, a particular vendor, they're going to give you all sorts of information. For platform vendors who want to achieve conformance, there's a GitHub repo that you can confirm your conformance through self-testing. So submit the results and have them accepted by the CNCF. And remember, end-user tests, if they find problems, you have to fix them. So it's very important for customers to know that their applications are going to deploy on your cluster properly. So hopefully that's informative and lets you know all about the certification programs available in the Kubernetes ecosystem. Thank you.